What's happening, everybody? Today we are going to a car meet that is being put on by Capital Auto Club here in Northern Virginia, and the car meet is to celebrate the release of Fast and Furious 9. So that's gonna be pretty cool. I expect some awesome JDM cars, and also, since it's being put on by Capital Auto Club, expect some nice expensive supercars too. So we need to wash this car up. It is pretty dirty. First, of course, we have to put the roof on. I'll back the car out, put the roof on, wash the car, and we will head over to the meet and see what kind of cool cars we can find. Also want to point out the new Super Flag, really cool, looks awesome in the garage. Let's get started. Ago I was saying that the weather looked really nice, and now I'm starting to have second thoughts, but I have fingers crossed it doesn't rain. Okay, the car is nice and beautiful, all clean. That took way too long. It is 3:05. The car meet starts at 4, so I need to get inside, clean up, and let's go. Okay, so we're on our way to the meet on the highway, and we got this 65 fastback right here. Pretty cool, check it out. Looks really nice. You never really see fastbacks in this area, so it's cool to see one. All right, we'll be there in about 10 minutes. All right, so we have arrived at the meet. I parked over there in the corner, and it's still filling up. Pretty small parking lot though, so I'm glad we got here early to get a spot. But from what I've noticed, all the cars here are pretty high quality. They also have some cones blocking the entrance, and they're only letting like certain cars in. I don't know where the rest of the cars are going, but anyways, so we parked there. A couple RX-7s here. Hopefully my friend with his Supra is gonna show up, and I just found that cone randomly and put it there. So I'm gonna walk around and see what kind of cars we got here. There's definitely one very special car right over there. I'll show you here in a second. So we got a couple RX-7s here. I like the license plate on this one, Dorito. All right, so check this out. We got the R34 GTR with the prime parking spot, and this car has been coming out to a couple of meets recently. And I think the owner lives in Maryland. This is in Virginia, but I've seen it in Virginia a lot recently, so it's pretty much the only R34 in this area from what I know. You never really see any others. A few more years till these will be legal. Now, I don't know the story behind this one. I don't know if it's a Motor X car or what, but pretty clean. As you can see, this car used to be owned by Savage Garage, but he sold it to another guy that lives around here. Amazing car. Getting very valuable. So we got a Huracan here, Performante. It's got like a matte gray color with the Italian stripes there on the side. And then we've got a Ferrari. I think it's a 488. Not exactly sure. Let's go around to the back. Check out the forged carbon here on the back. Really cool. Nice cars. All right, so I spotted another Supra over here, and I can't tell who it is, so I'm trying to get over here before it drives by. Oh, okay, I know who it is. I've shown this one on my channel, I think, a couple times. Seen it at Cars and Coffee. He's the one that has like the green accents on the car. It's like the green logos, green seat belts, green stitching, green calipers. We got C8 here. So I don't know what the deal is with parking. It seems like they're not letting some people in. It's kind of confusing. It was hot out, so I had to grab myself a root beer from this Whole Foods. First time ever going to Whole Foods. Not a fan. Got a C4 Corvette. Anyways, back to the meet. Alright, so here's a pretty unique car from the rest of the crowd here. It's a tiny little Fiat. Pretty cool. Trying not to get in the way of some pictures here. Fiat 1500S. The color on this BMW is really cool. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Awesome color. And we got the Mark V Supra, Jaguar, and we've got this GT3. Love the white. And we got a C2 Corvette over here. Oh, wide tires in the back. Check that out. Oh, very nice. And then we've got the AMG. So I've seen this before, I've mentioned it in my video, Star and Star on the license plate. So we were at another meet one time, there were like 6 cars parked next to each other that all had Star in the license plate. We've got this Ferrari now. I'm gonna have no idea what kind of Ferrari this is. Really unique Ferrari. Not one that you see too often. And we've got 3 R35s and 3 R8s. So I'm just gonna walk down the line here. And I've shown this one a few times. This one is the one with all the Godzilla stuff inside of it. We've got the silver one. This one's leaving. Or is it just straightening out? Just straightening out. And we've got the R8s here. 3 different shades of blue. We've got another Huracan here. And then a couple of Porsches. GT3 RS. And then is this a GT4? Yep, GT4. And we got the M6. C7. Challenger. And the Mercedes AMG SUV. Okay, so the meet is definitely filling up more. I'll walk around and show you some of the new cars that just pulled in.
She's right there, honey. It's right behind this group.
That was surgical, bro.
This is a pretty unique BMW. Never seen this one before.
family friendly, so you can bring the family to get stuff for the kids. Food, bunch of food vendors.
Here's a better look at that BMW from before. Nice BBS wheels. I've never seen this car in person. I just always see it on social media. Veilside RX-7.
I'm like, this is the car, right? Okay, yeah. So in that way, you know, in South Africa, we have a
We're gonna do this every meet now.
Every time.
You like my thing around the camera?
Yeah. What is
It's
that
just,
for?
it's as high quality as yours. No, it's for wind resistance. I love the yellow Type R. I think this color looks really good on this. The yellow with the red interior, sick. And then check out this McLaren 720S. Love this color as well. This is probably my favorite color at the meet of all the cars. Check it out. Epic. All right, so the crowd has finally cleared from the Veilside RX-7, so let's check it out. Insane car. Beautiful. Wow. Look at the red dash. Super clean. All right, so we just left the meet. I'm sitting shotgun, my wife's driving. And as you saw, that was a small meet, very select parking, which is pretty cool. Very high quality cars. So tonight we may end up going to see Fast and Furious 9. So if we do, I'll make sure I give you my honest opinion, because the reviews I've heard have been very mixed. Some people say it's the worst movie they've ever seen. Some people say that it was awesome. So if we do go, I'll let you know what I thought. Okay, so we decided we are gonna see the movie. So we're walking in now. See you in 2 hours. I'll let you know if it sucks. So I wanted to make sure I saw Fast 9 in the theater, because these movies are best with a crowd. Well, that didn't work. Hopefully more people will show up. I don't know where I'm gonna sit though.
3 hours later.
So the movie was not bad, but it wasn't like amazing. It was really fun to watch because it was just so crazy and absurd and over the top. If you thought that Fate of the Furious was just absurd and crazy, this movie takes it to a whole new level, and it makes Fate of the Furious look like like Tokyo Drift or something like a normal movie. It's just so crazy and out there, but that's kind of what's fun about it. The problem with Fate of the Furious is that the effects and stunts and everything looked so fake and just really bad. And I was laughing at those parts during that movie. I laughed a lot during this movie as well, but I was laughing at how crazy and how funny some of these things were, which is good. That's a good reason to laugh. Laughing at how bad it looks, like I was in Fate of the Furious, that's a bad reason to laugh. So it looked a lot better in this movie. The set pieces and all the stunts and effects and everything were so much better, so much higher quality. It seems like it was a much higher budget movie. And also, it was directed by the guy who directed Tokyo Drift. He directed Fast 5. He directed the 6th one. So he directed a lot of the really good ones. And it shows. You can tell that it's just higher quality all around. One thing that's really disappointing to someone like me who got into Fast and Furious because of the love of cars, especially tuner cars and stuff, there really aren't that many cool cars in this movie, which sucks. The movie is basically just an action movie. It's like a spy movie, almost like James Bond movie at this point. The only notable cars that I can remember from the movie were Han's orange Mark V Supra, which you see in the trailer, which honestly isn't even my favorite car at all. And there's a purple Noble that Helen Mirren drives. I'm pretty sure it was purple, and I'm pretty sure it was a Noble. You can't even there's not even any clear shots of the car. It's just a chase scene, and you really don't see much of it. So that was really disappointing. If you love black Chargers, this is the movie for you, because there's about 50 of them in the movie. And then, the typical tanks and Jeeps and all kinds of things, but no cool tuner JDM cars or anything. So that was disappointing. So here I'm going to get into some spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, I recommend turning the video off. But if you have seen the movie, I'm going to list the top 5 most ridiculous moments from the movie that I thought of on the way home from the movie theater. And I just wanted to list them out because there's so many crazy and absurd moments. Just some things that I noticed that are just super unrealistic, and I just wanted to mention them real fast. So number 5, after Ludacris and Tyrese blow up that other satellite, I'll get more into that in a minute. But after they blow that thing up and they're floating away in the Fiero, another space station or satellite comes across them and saves them. And they're looking out the window and they're like, hey, do you see what I'm seeing? And there's the Fiero and you just see them waving. That is, do you know how big the orbit is around the Earth? What are the chances that another satellite or space station is just going to come across them? It's just so absurd and ridiculous. But like I said, I have a couple more things on this list that have to do with that one scene, so I'll get into that in a second. Number 4, Sean and Twinkie and whatever that other guy's name is, somehow since Tokyo Drift have become aerospace engineers. They've designed this Fiero that's airtight with rocket boosters on it that can go into space, and it has the little jets on the side that can move it around in space. And Sean has just become a fighter pilot. He's flying this plane up into space at one point with the Fiero attached to the top of it. Where did they even get that plane in the first place? So Sean is just this super skilled pilot now, and they're creating these rocket-powered cars. It just seems like such a stretch from where they were in Tokyo Drift at the end of the movie. How did they get to that? It's just, I don't know. That was kind of weird. I feel like maybe they should have used other characters for that. I do like that they brought Sean, and I guess I like that they brought Twinkie back. I do like the character Sean. I'm glad they brought him back, and I thought it was a cool nod to Tokyo Drift, but I just thought it was weird how they used those characters. All right, number 3. Back to the space scene. Tyrese and Ludacris are in this Fiero and they push the NOS button and go flying into the satellite that they're supposed to destroy and just crash the Fiero into it. The satellite explodes into a million pieces, and I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, that there's a huge fireball, which, if I'm correct, wouldn't happen in space. But the Fiero just goes straight through it. The satellite explodes into a million pieces. There's shrapnel flying all over the place. But not only do Ludacris and Tyrese not die, the Fiero is perfectly fine. There's no damage to it or anything. They continue flying, they get saved or whatever. But I don't know how they're going to try and explain that a Fiero drove through a satellite and won. I don't know. Number 2. For this one, we have a demonstration. So there's a scene in the beginning of the movie where there's this huge canyon with two big cliffs on each side, and there's this little like rope and like wooden bridge going across it. The other people drive across it and it collapses, and by the time that Dom and Letty are in their black Charger trying to cross it, the bridge is gone. So Dom decides that he's just going to ram his car into this pole that still has a rope attached to it from the bridge, and he just knows, he goes full speed flying off the end of the cliff. He knows that this rope is somehow going to attach to the end of his car, and they're going to fly across this canyon on this rope like a swing all the way over to the other side. The car lands on the other side of the canyon, flips like 50 times, the airbags don't go off, and they're perfectly fine. They don't have a scratch on them. I don't know how he knew that the rope was just going to attach to the car. I guess it doesn't really matter, but if that didn't happen, the car would have just driven off the cliff and it would have like fallen 300 feet and the car would have just exploded. But knowing this movie, they probably would have survived that too somehow. It's also funny that in the movie at one point Tyrese starts talking about how he thinks they're invincible because they've been through all these things and all these crazy like stunts and crashes and everything, and they never get hurt. So I kind of liked how they included that in the movie because they're being kind of self-aware, but just another example of that. And before we get into number one, I will give an honorable mention, most ridiculous moments, to Cardi B being a like SWAT team leader. No, I'm sorry. But no, that was horrible. I don't know how she got in the movie. It's like she like asked them if she could be in the movie and they're like, yeah, sure, or something. Who knows how that happened? But that was horrible, cringy, and I'm so glad it only lasted for like a minute. Number one, the most ridiculous moment from F9. It made me think of a moment from The Fate of the Furious, which I would also consider the craziest, most absurd moment of that movie. In that movie, Vin Diesel, they're on this top level of this parking garage and it's like cracked or something, and Vin Diesel just stomps his foot and the whole ground like under him just collapses. This part made me think of that as well. They're in this like big giant, like I don't know if you would call it a silo or something, like a military thing where they would have like a rocket maybe. It's this really tall, long structure and it's all concrete and there's this metal catwalk like hundreds of feet below it and then like some water. So anyways, Vin Diesel is on this metal catwalk with like 30 other like armed dudes, and they're all fighting him and pulling him, and he's trying to get through them and get to Letty or whatever, and he sees these two big chains that are like this big around, and he looks up and he grabs the chains and he just pulls them down, and there's this huge concrete thing above him, and the concrete thing just like disintegrates and collapses, and the whole like foundation of this place just collapses, falls, destroys the catwalk. He falls like 300 feet into this water, which would have killed him on impact immediately. And all these huge concrete blocks are falling next to him. And then I guess his like life flashes before his eyes or whatever. And then he wakes up out of it and you see Letty dive into the water. So she jumped from up above where he was like 200 or 300 feet, because he was falling forever. So trust me, it was hundreds of feet. So she dove into the water, avoided all these huge concrete blocks, and then somehow saved him. That was just the most absurd moment of the movie for me. Yes, they did go to space and everything, but that was like totally predictable. Like I knew that was probably gonna happen. But when I saw him grab those two chains and pull all the concrete down and it just collapses, I laughed out loud so hard. It was hilarious, but it was absurd in a good, funny way. I mean, there are also scenes in the movie where, like, I think John Cena is carrying Vin Diesel, like they're fighting, and Vin Diesel's head just goes through the frame of a door that they're in, and doesn't, like, the frame of the door just explodes and his head goes right through it, and it didn't even hurt him at all. So, anyways, if you haven't seen the movie, I hope you didn't watch till now because I spoil a bunch of it, but I enjoyed the movie because it was really fun to watch. I wouldn't say it was like an amazing movie. I give it like a 6.5 out of 10. It's definitely better than some of the other Fast and Furious movies. I liked it better than 8. I liked it better than 4. I think 4 is one of the worst ones. I have to go back and revisit 5 and 6. I've only seen those maybe once or twice. I definitely think it was a good installment, and I have no idea where they're going to go from here because I think they're supposed to make 2 more movies. So anyways, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you thought of F9 if you did see it, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.